welcome to the Mill Creek Government Channel. I'm Judy Zelina, and joining us on our program today, we have two guests, and they are with the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. We have Jane Gibson. Jane is a committee member for the Light the Night, and also she is a blood cancer survivor. Also, we have Sherry Ziesenheim. Sherry is the campaign coordinator for Light the Night Erie. Ladies, thank you so much for joining me. We have done this program in the past, but it's wonderful every year to get updated and let us know when the walk is and all the inside story of what goes on.
Kind of meet some
for this, right, for this event.
Meet some new faces.
That's right. Well, Sherry, first off, maybe some of our viewers are not aware of the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. Mm-hmm. So if you could give us like a brief overview of the society and its mission.
The Leukemia and Lymphoma Society was founded to cure leukemia, lymphoma, myeloma, Hodgkin's disease, and also to make life better for patients and their families. We're actually the largest nonprofit voluntary health organization that is specifically and solely devoted to blood cancer.
Oh my gosh. Now, do you have there's been some research milestones with these blood disorders, hasn't there?
Mm-hmm. Actually, when the society began, it started in 1949. It was founded by a couple who had lost their son to leukemia, and they were just determined to find a cure. At the time that the society was founded, blood cancer was considered to be 100% fatal, and actually most children that were diagnosed passed away within about 3 months. And so since then, by funding research, there have been some huge milestones. Just since the 1990s alone, our cure rate for blood cancer has increased from the 70th percentile to the 90th percentile for many different types of cancers. We also are sponsoring research programs that are looking at targeted drug therapies, which are designed to tackle the cancer cells while leaving the healthy surrounding cells alone.
Wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
You guys really have come a long way.
Very much.
Because I do remember, which is giving my age, but oh well, years ago, you're right, it was when you were diagnosed, there really was not much hope. And speaking of hope, we have Jane Gibson with us. And Jane, you are a blood cancer survivor. We are so happy to have you on the program.
Thank you for having me.
And you are a part of, you're on the committee for the Light the Night?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Now, you were a blood cancer survivor, and I think some of our viewers might want to know, first off, what were your initial symptoms?
I had very, very little symptoms, so it was very unusual. I was very healthy, going about my everyday life, and one evening my husband and I were out for dinner, and I used the restroom and found I was having some bleeding. And I called my primary care doctor first thing in the morning, and she got me in and had me see another doctor, and they found that I had it's called a chloroma, which is, again, very rare, and it's a pocket of leukemia cells which are being grown outside of your bone marrow. And so they biopsied that and told me that I had leukemia, which again was very rare because typically you'll find it right in the blood. And it wasn't in my blood yet, but it was the precursor to having it in my blood.
Wow. Oh my goodness. And then you of course had to go through treatments. What type of treatments did you have to go through?
With the leukemia, and I was diagnosed with acute myeloid leukemia.
All right.
It's a very significant treatment, and you have to go through chemotherapy, typically 4 to 6 weeks initially, where you are in the hospital. They treat you, and they have to get your blood levels to such a low point in order to kill off the cells. Okay. And so that's called an induction period. So they do that, and then after that amount of time, they start letting your blood start coming back to the normal levels. And once they do that, then they go to the next set of treatments. And that's 4 different stages where they'll bring you back and they'll give you treatments, chemotherapy again, every 12 hours for a week. And then they send you home, and during that time, they let you start letting your blood work get better, and they repeat this until you've finished all that and hopefully your blood work is clear.
Oh my goodness.
During that time, you really are hoping to stay away from any infections because your white counts are so low. and if you do, then you end up going back in the hospital, and you're very, very ill.
And then you found out about LLS, correct?
Yes.
At that time?
Well, that was the first thing I did. Is I didn't know who to turn to, where to get help, who knew anything, because it was so unusual. And so I went to the internet right away and started looking up who to talk to, what about this. So I called the Leukemia Lymphoma Society, and they were just so great in reassuring me that they had answers, they could help me, they could point me in directions. There were support programs out there, all sorts of things that just helped me and my family out.
Oh. Sherry, what type of programs do you have available to somebody like Jane or a family member that might call?
Erie County is served by the Western PA, West Virginia chapter, and so Jane probably connected with our full-time patient services manager, who would then direct patients who approach us to the various programs, which include the support group that Jane mentioned. We have a support group that meets monthly at St. Vincent Health Center. It is facilitated by 2 volunteer nurses, and usually is quite well attended. I've sat in on a meeting or two, usually about 15 to 20 people. Now, Erie County's pretty broad, so if you're a patient maybe that feels that getting to St. Vincent is difficult, or maybe you're not feeling well enough even to go someplace, we also offer a program called First Connection. This is a telephone support system, and the society, our patient services manager, will match patients who are usually about the same age, have the same diagnosis, and usually the same gender, and then connect them by telephone so that they can support each other through the journey and through their treatment program.
What a great idea that is.
We also offer financial aid. We have medical stipends that are available to all patients who apply, regardless of financial need. And then we also offer co-payment assistance, and that is based upon financial need through an application process.
So you're here to make it easier for either the patient or the families. How did the LLS, how did they impact your life and also your family?
Everything.
Everything?
Everything. I mean, they, again, right from the start, by giving me some direction, knowing there was someone there who understood, someone who I could pick up the phone and call them, could give me information. They gave us the financial assistance that Sherry was speaking of. And my family knew that they could contact them. They gave us a lot of written information that was helpful. My children are all over the country, and so it's just my husband and I here, and having the children be able to talk to someone to find out information again, I think was really supportive for them and made them feel like they were part of it. They understood things a little bit better.
It's a very important point, actually. It is for patients and for patient families. And we have a lot of patients who aren't ready to accept or acknowledge what they're going. I mean, it's terrifying. And that doesn't mean maybe that their family or their support people aren't looking for answers. And so we're here for them too. And sometimes that can help. If we reach out to the family first, maybe we can draw in the patient after that. And that's also an important aspect of what we do.
I think it is very important, because I think when somebody is diagnosed, and many people are in denial at first,
right?
And I'm sure, well, when you're diagnosed, this is your world right here, and you really don't feel like talking to anybody,
right?
And you feel like, well, you don't know what I'm feeling. You know, they have that sort of, they put that wall up.
That's right.
And people can be afraid to ask for help.
Exactly. Right, because I mean, I work here at the Municipal Building and Public Services, and you're right, many people feel it's a sign of not being strong enough to be able to handle something like that. But you know what?
You don't know how people are going to react to you. You don't want sympathy. You want to be strong. You don't want to cry. There's so many different feelings going through, and when there is that person on the other end of the phone, sometimes you don't even want to see someone face to face. By talking to someone on the phone, for me, made a big difference. Being able to just chat and listen and know that they knew what they were talking about and could give me some direction.
So that's what you're looking for, direction. You've never been on this road before.
That's right.
You know, and you know what paths to tell everybody to take.
Right.
So which brings us to the one event. It's your annual event.
Right.
And I know people that have participated in it before, and they just said it's absolutely marvelous. It's that light the night.
Light the night, that's right. Yeah, actually last year was my first time not only organizing, but participating even in the event. I had been familiar with it and heard about it before, but had never actually done the walk. So when the evening came around and I was just feeding off of the energy of all the people. We attracted about 1,200 walkers last year, which was a record turnout for us and incredibly exciting because most of our walk teams have been working throughout the year, certainly throughout the summer, on their fundraising efforts, and they come to this walk ready to relax and celebrate their success and celebrate their survival and honor their loved ones, and it's incredibly exciting.
So you're new on board with LLS.
Right, in the last year.
Okay, and Jane, have you participated in a walk previously?
I did. I participated in the same walk that Sherry did. My diagnosis was a year ago, January.
Okay.
And so I was actually finishing treatment in July, and when I was starting to know I was getting my strength back, I wanted to see what can I do to help, because it had made such an impact on me. I wanted to be able to give back. And so I heard about the Night the Light walk and again told my family, you know, everybody needs to participate, you all need to help me out. And so then I started attending the meetings for those for Night the Light, and it was incredible. It was very touching. It's touching to have your team, because it's another support group for you.
Right.
It's raising money because, again, we've received financial assistance from them, and to be able to give some of that back, knowing somebody else out there is going to go through the same thing and they're going to need that, that was huge.
That's wonderful.